Like to me, by letting go and not defining everything and saying nothing has any meaning, it gives it all the meaning in the world.
Yeah.
Like it gives you. I love having a 5-year-old, right? Because this kid doesn't know anything, but he knows everything. That's the best way that I can think of it. And I always say because I, and again, I hate to even think that this is. I hate that this to even think that this is happening. But I define things for him, right? I mean, even having a conversation, I hate it. You know what I'm saying? And I used to tell you all the time how TJ used to say stuff like, what if Superman had flash feet? The kids will just, it doesn't matter. Like, it matters to you. I'll be like, bruh, Superman cannot have flash feet. Like, that don't even make sense. But again, they are so open to anything being possible. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I know I heard the words that's coming out of my mouth, right? But using my son, my 5-year-old, as an example, and basketball, which is the thing that he loves so much, he comes and talks to me about hypothetical situations all the time. Like, Dad, so what if I go down the court and I do this and all these different things, or when I do, he's always in a hypothetical world. And I'm always like, bruh, like, you got to practice. Like, again, I'm starting to create these things. Like, you can do that, but you need to do this at the house first, right? You need to do all of these different things first. And sometimes he goes out on the court and it's stuff that I never seen before. And then I'm amazed, like, how did he do that? Because he didn't have that limitation that I have in my head. And so, like, I said that to say, be that blank canvas and just do that. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so check this out. And that's a perfect example of being these rule enforcers of rules we don't want. So, like, I can only imagine if I had kids, I want them to be seen as smart. But what we see as smart are people who know all of these definitions. You got to know what this means. You got to know you got to know how to behave this certain way when this certain circumstance happens. And it's like you in a way you're indoctrinating young ones to be limited in a sense. And like you said, like they are already open and know everything. And but in us trying to limit them, we are just limiting ourselves. We are believing in the limitation. And like you said, like the reason you're surprised is because you had a limit set. You shouldn't be surprised. Like he should be able to just fly to the rim at 5 years old, and there's no surprise. Like, of course he could do that. Everything is possible, but it is not possible because we don't believe it's possible.
But the crazy part about it is, even in what you just said, when again he surprises me too, right? But then other people that don't see now, and I'm going to come back to the definitions that I gave, right? Or the reasons that I gave. Now, some things we do work on, and some things he is able to recreate in games or in practices and stuff. And people will look at me and they'll be surprised. And then I'm giving confirmation by saying, of course he can do that. We be at the house doing this all the time. And that kind of reinforces the behavior. It's what makes you do the same things that you've been doing because you've deemed that this is the only way that it can work. And we do that with ourselves. Like, something that you've worked on, over and over again, you'll say, of course I can do that. But then sometimes you might do something by accident and you're surprised, like you weren't supposed to be able to do that. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't by accident just to say it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm thinking about some of my creations that people give credit to me toward. It was the easiest thing ever. But like sometimes when I try to recreate these things, it's the hardest thing ever because I'm now looking at it through the lens of these limitations. It's got to be just like how this moment was. It's got to be just like this moment. But like pure creation, you have no control over. It's just a flowing. It's a being. It's a beingness, and that's really the only way to be. So if we are enforcers of anything, we shouldn't be enforcers of anything. But if we are, it's more so of helping people to let go of those limitations and realize that that's just one way. Like you said, it's infinite ways. That's just one way out of infinity.